In the moving reading from the first book of the prophet Samuel, it said the prophet Eli and young Samuel slept in the temple, and the sacred lamp of God had not yet burnt out. We were privileged to hear a moving exchange between a young man who as yet did not know God and an elderly prophet who we were told had limited eyesight. We heard how during the evening a voice was heard calling out to Samuel. All the while Samuel thought it was Eli calling out to him, but instead it was God. 3 times God called out, "Samuel, Samuel, Samuel." And finally the young boy came to know who it was, and he responded, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." Young Samuel waited, and God stooped toward him, and Samuel heard his voice. Everything that we heard described today in this scripture will happen to us at one time or another, whether we are seasoned believers or like Eli, the elderly prophet, or like young Samuel, the seeker, with the ears open to hear God's call. We can learn from the example of Jesus today when he heard that a friend's mother was ill. He quickly went to her home, grasped her by the hand, helped her up. And sometimes that's all that is required of us. Be attentive to the voices calling out to us today that seek someone who will listen to them, reach out to them, and give them a leg up. I heard a story about a modern-day Eli who had an encounter not with a young Samuel, but with a cranky, crusty, elderly gentleman in his hospital bed. The Eli I heard, he was a communion minister, himself approaching 90, with his own ailments, but still assisting others by approaching them and lifting them up with Jesus in communion, or with Jesus' words of compassion. After attending to one of 2 patients in a room that the Eucharistic minister was in, he turned to the crusty gentleman in the adjoining bed and simply said, "Hi, friend." "Friend? Who said you are my friend? I don't have any friends." "But you do. He's right there on the wall." The communion minister pointed to the crucifix. "He's your friend." And the crusty gentleman then asked, "What were you saying to that other man in bed?" "I was praying." "Can you say some of those words for me?" "I don't know how to pray." "Yes, and I will teach you how to pray so that you can talk to your friend." "Think back on our military days," he said. "Recall how every evening it was our duty to report to our commanding officer, salute him, tell him our name, and say, 'Reporting for duty, sir.' Let that be your prayer. Every night, before you go to bed, let God know that you are reporting for duty. Speak, Lord. Your servant is listening."